Good day, dear. Good day. I'm trying this again in English. Good day, dear friends. This is our Monday. It's Monday? I'm confused. It's Memorial Day. Memorial Day. And for those of you from around the world who are joining us from various parts of the world, I say to you, welcome, all of you. And I'm sure you know of our Memorial Day. This is where we, many countries like this, pay homage to the men and women who have died, given their lives in support, in defense of your country. Russia has a very elaborate version, a very understanding, by the way, which we should be taking great part in because they were instrumental in defeating Hitler and fascism. Though you would never understand that once you've seen Saving Private Ryan. Our version is that we won all of World War II. We needed no help from anyone. But before we begin, I'd like to say, please like this video. And where is everyone from? Look at this. Hello from South Africa. Fort Myers, Ali County is here in the house. From sunny London. Oh, I love this afternoon mint crew. I love this. You're having your coffee. I'm having my frothy. Where's everyone from? Idaho. Love this. Your hound sounding very hoarse. Don't think so. Kentucky, Palm Harbor. Yes, Tupelo, Mississippi. That, of course, I believe that was Elvis country. Spokane, Thailand. Yes. Thailand, Wales, 92 degrees. Scotland. I love this. Alabama. Say no more. Nothing more foreign than Australia. Well after midnight. Texas. Saratoga Springs, Corbin, Kentucky, Liverpool, Liverpudlians. Do you speak Scouse, as it were? Georgia, USA. Thank you very much for. This is wonderful. This is just wonderful. Valley Forge. Look at this. Michigan. Great Michiganders. Ohio. Tin Soldiers and Nixon coming. Naples, Florida, Napoli. Wisconsin, wonderful. Thank you so much, my friends. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. There's a different countenance, a different sound, a different timbre waves of grain, a different sound of this. By the way, look at this. My wife found for me a little bug. You can't see this, a little critter here. You can see a little critter. There we go. And I'm supposed to, here we go. I'm supposed to, you can't even see it. There at the very bottom. I'm supposed to identify. There we go. She hands it to me like I'm supposed to identify it. I can only tell if it is a bed bug. You do not want a bed bug. Cymex lectularius, the hematophagic, horrible, horrid bed bug. You do not want that ever. So whenever we find anything that you can identify, of course, I'm a forensic entomologist, and I'm supposed to identify this. And I will do my best to do such. In any event, my friends, today is Memorial Day. And I have the unique ability, before we get to today's subject at hand, I have this unique position of saying something which I think is so profound. I will say something that I think is so profound and so obviously easy to understand, much like Stephen Salty, who says, Lionel, we are having a mini heat wave in the UK and I'm still going to complain. Good for you. It's that global warming. Bullshit. Look at this, Norfolk, Brighton. I love this. I got this thing yesterday. I was looking at where my viewers are, and the predominant majority are U.S., and then second was Canada, and then the others were, what else? I'm thinking, I don't know. We have a wonderful group, an international melange of humans. In any event, so I wrote this piece, and I said, we have got to be careful. You've got to be careful before you say, support our, remember our men who died. Freedom isn't free. Oh, that's it. Freedom isn't free. This drives me crazy. What they're saying is, in essence, it can't be interpreted as, oh, well, you win some, you lose some. Dying is just part of the down payment for freedom. So don't get too bent out of shape and trying to prevent wars and the like. Hey, it happens. And if people die, well, what are you going to do? That's sometimes the tacit understanding. It's like the tacit, the understood, the presumed subtext of everything. Like, oh, well, war, it happens. No. I think the only time we didn't have wars were immediately after the First World War. It might have been Coolidge and Hoover, maybe a little bit during Jimmy Carter. But we have always had Americans, our country, dying in some type of war or military activity, and that's unacceptable. That is absolutely, you're right, ritual sacrifice. It's wrong. It is wrong. I cannot say this enough. War is insane. It is disgusting. It is the worst than anything else. And it's obscene. We should do everything in our power to prevent it from happening. That's simple. There's this weird type of thing. I've got to explain this. I don't know why this is so important to me. And in addition to my other aspects of my analysis, my commentary life, I'm not a pacifist, and then I'm not somebody who does not ever permit fighting, war, and the like. I just view it as unnecessary 99% of the time. It is like the idea of you being able to take the life of your relatives in the event of an argument. Now you can do it. You know it is possible. You know that, yes, if it were to ever come to a point where your sibling or relative were to threaten you with physical harm, yes, but that's so far-fetched, you don't even consider it. That should be war. That should be it. It is so far-fetched, so out of the ordinary. Let's negotiate this. What is it that you want? Unless what you want is illegal. Then we need to worry about that. Then we need to worry about that. Do you understand it? And every single time there is war, it is never in the defense. It is never in the defense. Maybe World War II might have applied. Maybe World War II applied. Maybe when we were going after to stop Hitler in his expansion. But short of that, I'm afraid to tell you, I'm afraid to say, I think that for the most part, as someone once said, they are bankers' wars. And that may sound a bit rough. That may sound a bit tough. As in, here we go. Dog's Nose says, are all wars bankers' war in your opinion? Yes, absolutely. We don't need this. Now, changing to a different subject, which I think is kind of more interesting. Not more interesting, but I think more amendable. We find ourselves as human beings, whenever we meet somebody, immediately are always assessing their sincerity, their truth, their, like, do you believe them? Like in terms of politicians, I always thought, with Trump, that's who he is. He's not hiding anything. He is what he is. If he's considerate or shallow or smart or dumb or whatever it is, he's not hiding it. He's not pretending he's something that he is not. I thought Bill Clinton was a bullshit artist. I thought he was always, I don't think he was what he wanted to be. I think he wanted to be loved, and therefore he would come across as this unctuous, kind of a syrupy, whatever. Obama, I thought, was a little bit cold, but I think that was kind of him. Jimmy Carter that was who Jimmy Carter was, as ineffectual as it was. Reagan, another one too, was an act. Biden, I thought, if you really got to know him, would really be probably a natural backslapper. He'd be somebody, he wasn't the man of the greatest depth, but I think you might, were it not for his forced politics, he might have been likable. And out of all the people in the world, and for all my UK folks, Meghan Markle is the most fascinating story that I don't think people in this country really understand. This is a woman who could have come in and she could have owned this. But she wasn't satisfied with that. She wanted to be, she thought she could use the crown, so to speak, as a stepping stone. That she thought, I'll just use that and then take off. Then I'll land for a few minutes and say, no, you've got to invest in that. This is a very, very serious thing. And she is so despised, so loathed by everyone. They're so loathed. But that's who she is. It's not an act. She's craven, so to speak. She's for sale, but that's who she is. Erika, there is nothing there. Erika is an empty plastic bag, a little baggie, and whatever is in here, that defines the bag. That's who she is. There's nothing there. There's no Erika there. It's whatever I am at the time. And I forget what my last one was. Whatever I said before. I don't know. I don't even know what I want. Do I want the money? Do I want the fame? Maybe the fame. She will say anything regarding Charlie. Anything. She will become Jewish, Christian, Zoroastrian. She will be anything you want. This is what I think few people really realize because they think you're being mean. On a different topic from most people, there is no Erika Kirk that exists. And I want you to think about that. She doesn't exist. There's no, I don't know what's there. It's almost like what color does the chameleon, what color is the chameleon? Not really sure. The chameleon is really, so to speak, whatever it is near, whatever the camouflage is, that's what it is. If that makes any sense. It's fascinating. And Charlie was taken, plucked from his life, brutally cut down, and nobody is the slightest bit interested in avenging his nothing. It is the most incredible story. Nobody is of it. It concerns no one. Nothing. He has already forgotten. Already. Nobody cares. The Tyler Robinson case is coming up. And I think most people look at it sort of as maybe a true crime, kind of not a whodunit. Well, for us, it's not a whodunit, but can you prove it? And it's just incredible. And I will not abide that. I will not personally allow for Charlie to be just forgotten. Sorry, that ain't going to happen on my or our watch. It's just not going to happen. There's something that is so sad about that. And there's something that is so unfair where there's no justice. There was a little girl one time years ago. I know this is a bit of a stretch, but there was a little girl. They found this girl. I forget where, what year it was a long time, maybe the 70s. This little girl so-and-so. They gave her a name. And she was found almost abandoned. And they said, who is she? And the police got together and they bought her a little casket and they had a funeral. They had a kind of a Christian burial, presuming she was Christian. But it was though she was just tossed aside. And there's something so horrible about it. It's the only thing that gives me consolation whenever I view cemeteries, which I despise. At least they honored or tried to honor the existence of this person, perhaps in this very, very camp way, because I think the way we do funerals and cemeteries is so barbaric and so weird and so strange. It's one of those things I just don't understand. But there's something about this horrible part about our good friend Charlie. It is so monumentally sad. And I don't know what happened to his parents, and I don't know what happened to him, and I don't know what happened to any of these people. None of it makes any sense to me. None of it. I'm wondering, don't you doesn't anybody, aren't they asking the questions? Does this woman not care about anything? Doesn't she? Seriously, doesn't she care about anything? You know, and I know those parents have been forgotten. Don't tell me they want their privacy. It's not that they want that I want them to do anything, but Erika's paid no lip service to him. When she gave this story one time about how Charlie loved her mother, they were the best of friends. Laurie, Franz, he loved her. He loved her. Really? Do you really believe this? Do you want us to believe this story? Yeah, and basically she said, I don't care whether you agree with it or not. That's my version of the story. What about them? Nothing. And the children, nothing. There's something, and I don't know what it is, and I think if you were to analyze it, maybe Erika represents every phony I've ever met in my life. Maybe she's the composite of everybody I've known who not only was trying to pull a fast one, and let me make a distinction here. I don't think she is trying to pull a fast one because she's just being whatever the situation warrants, whatever the belief is, whatever it is, that's who she is. That's it. She's just trying to be whatever the storyline is today. If she's into the Jewish Sabbath, there's a Shabbat Shalom, and then she'll do that. She has no interest in Zionism. She has no interest in anything. If tomorrow there's if all of a sudden she were to take in some type of climate activist position, if she thought maybe that was the way to go, maybe if she thought that was commensurate, that she could do much better doing that, she would take on that. Not because she cares anything about climate, anything. It doesn't work like that. This is the part. It's people that were always phonies to me. A phony I can't stand. I'm going to keep repeating myself. A phony knows they're a phony. She doesn't know. It's like she's been in a coma. And every time she wakes up, she finds herself in a new role by what they're telling her she is now. And then she goes to sleep and she goes into another coma. And she's more fascinating than anything you've ever realized because there's no there. There's nothing there. And I love the way there's so many parts to this story. There's the trial part, which I thoroughly love. thoroughly love it because it's so interesting. From a trial lawyer's point of view, I love this because I'm telling you, there's not going to be a weapon, there's not going to be a confession, and good luck if you're trying to prove any of this stuff. So that's that. There's also the part of who did it, the motivation. Who benefited versus whom can you prove as having brought it on? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I can't explain that one. I'm not sure. Who would have benefited from it? Israel? Not the country, but maybe this iteration, certainly. Without a doubt. How about the war effort? Without a doubt. How about TPUSA? How about the people there who were worrying about perhaps maybe a Doge type of a investigation? They would have benefited. How about Erika? Erika would have benefited as well because of the fact, if you look at it from the viewpoint, she now went from nothing to the CEO, maybe in name only. So she benefited. Now, that's not to say any of these people did this or had anything to do with it. Most dispatchings like this are from people who aren't really benefited. It just happens either, I don't know, deliberately or out of anger or some other form of thing. So there's all this, it's that. Then there's the actual identity. The third part is the identity of who pulled what trigger. If you go to my YouTube, my X at Lionel Media, under the subscriber section, there is a comedian who speaks so eloquently on this subject and says specifically and precisely all of the theories regarding the exploding microphone. And that particular way of thinking, it is most fascinating. And just because it's fascinating doesn't mean it proves anything. It doesn't prove anything. Look how wonderful this is. Dan Dangler says, another day with Lionel. Dan Dangler, you made my day with it. Thank you so very much. Emma says, when Tyler's case is over, would it be possible for Candace to bring her own case? She has so much evidence. Love your show, Lionel. Absolute favorite. You have made my day, Emma Raven. Couple of questions you ask. Could she bring her case? Very good case. Let me ask the class. We'll do a little impromptu legal discussion. Class, could Candace bring her own case? What would a lawyer say? What would a lawyer say? It's a fascinating question. And remember, the people I like to talk to are not lawyers, but people who are, as we say, lay people, non-lawyers. Well, civil, okay, maybe, civil. Well, here's the answer. It would obviously be civil because she is not a member of government. She doesn't have a government capacity, so she couldn't bring a prosecution or anything. But here is the question. First question, first issue, first one. Remember, issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. IRAC. This is the old law school thing. Issue. What's the issue? The issue is, does she have standing? Does Candace Owens have standing to bring a lawsuit against, well, it's not going to be against Tyler because he's going to be acquitted. Bring a case against TPUSA. Let's say she, and let's be very, 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 very clear in this. Candace Owens has never, ever so much as insinuated, hinted, or suggested, implied that Erika Kirk was responsible for the expunction of her husband. Now, her her indifference to whatever it is. I mean, she may have reacted, but being responsible, no. There is no evidence. Could she have been? Yes, of course. Could, yes. Evidence of it? No. I go by evidence. I don't care what. I can have my suspicions all I want, but it doesn't matter. Could TPUSA have? Yes, certainly they could be involved in it. Could Israel or BB? I don't know about BB, but could the CIA? Well, maybe if there was some, but there's no evidence of it. There's none. You can think all you want. All of it. Even the exploding microphone. Is there evidence of it? I haven't seen any. There are hypotheses. There are thinkings, thoughts, perhaps, but I don't know. Now, the question is, does she have standing? Standing is one of those things that you always have to ask yourself. And the question is all the time, how would you define, or I guess you would say, what is standing under the law? What determines if a plaintiff has standing to bring a case? And that's the issue. That's the one that's going to be you should note. And it means it's a doctrine, it's an understanding, it's a principle that determines if a person or entity has the right to bring a lawsuit. And in simple terms, you ask, are you the proper person to sue? Do you have do you have a stake in the case? A plaintiff has to prove a number of things, like three. Number one, injury. Were you injured? Was Candace injured? Did she suffer from something directly? The plaintiff, she would be the plaintiff, as the plaintiff sues the defendant. The plaintiff must show a concrete injury, not hypothetical, not abstract, but financial loss, physical injury, loss of rights, emotional harm. And if you have emotional harm, can you take emotional harm as a friend? No. As a spouse? Yes. But you don't have stake. You have no connection. I don't want to make, but almost like you're not in privity, as we say. Yeah, I lost my friend. I'm going to make a lawsuit. Why? Well, that was my friendship. Well, if you were a spouse, a sibling, maybe. The courts also can reject a lawsuit based on, I disagree with this policy. You see, the plaintiff must show that the defendant, the person, caused the injury. And there's been there has to be a direct connection between what this person did and the harm. And you have to ask yourself, what is her stake in this? Does a friend have a right? No, not really. Can a friend bring a cause of action? No. Now, again, she might spearhead it. Maybe you could say there might be a kind of a not a derivative, but a group of, let's say, TPUSA, let's say board members or somebody. This is going to be tough. If the government says no, remember, the state can bring a case, the feds can bring a case, but you've got to be a victim of this somehow. You've got to be, and being a friend just doesn't do it. So, but I would hope. Now, do you think that Erika would? If Erika, let's say he was acquitted, could Erika bring a civil case herself? She could, but that ain't going to happen. She wants this over and done with, period. Now, what's interesting, because we live in the internet world now, well, what happened would be if somebody put together, and this is why somebody like, who does a great job is James Corbett. A lot of people, they can put together a sort of here it is, a do-it-yourself case of this, and this. You present it to the federal government as saying, here's your case, do something about it. What would be the federal cause of action? Well, was he denied his civil rights? There is no case of murder per se, but Why was he, removed? It's not just regular murder. Was it a part of piracy or drug trafficking or some felony or maybe so? But you know what? The thing is that once you get into this and once you establish where the public says, look, the court of public opinion says this never happened. Nobody believes that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman in JFK. Nobody should believe that Sirhan had anything to do with that. But nobody knows enough about the case yet. But JFK, we know that. There's a couple of stragglers out there who just love to be, obstinate. Where they say, no, it was the reason you have a problem with this is you can't believe that somebody is as insignificant as Lee Harvey Oswald could have taken your prince. Yeah, we've heard that before. But what we have right now is this case that is just, it's a dog. Now, once it hits critical mass, once you break that blood-brain barrier, once you, like, for example, it would be great to go on a show that maybe people like, I don't want to say like maybe a Hannity or something, and you could explain it, and you would have to do it slower, but you would have to say that, well, let me ask you something, Sean or Jesse Waters, or I don't know who, somebody that people would listen to or respect, or I don't know, anybody, Rachel Maddow. And you would ask him the final question. You would go on the question and you would ask him to say, Sean or Rachel, whatever, how do you think Charlie met his demise? How do you? Just, what do you think? And they will say, well, I think that he was removed by virtue of a bullet from a rifle that was fired by Tyler Robinson. Maybe later it was a 30-06, maybe it was a Mauser 98, whatever this is. But so let me get this straight, Sean or Jesse, or whoever you are. So you believe that the evidence will show that it was from a rifle he owned. It was his rifle, not a rifle, his rifle, that he pulled the trigger. He was responsible. And then fired a 30-06. And from that perch, it hit Charlie. Let me go a little step further. Maybe you don't know about this. It hit him here. And that was the cause of death, as it were. It hit him here, right? And you also believe later that he confessed. I'm doing a lot of half air quotes, which is an apostrophe. You think about that. Anyway, he confessed to his girlfriend, gay lover, Lance, Junebug or Luna, whatever the nigga, confessed to him, her, it, they, mom and dad, and a Discord group of people, right? Is that about it? So Tyler, rifle, confession. Am I safe with that one? Good. Let's start with that, shall we? Let's proceed. And by the way, Sean or whatever, you're reasonable in thinking that, because that's what people are told. Why would you think otherwise? You're busy with what you're doing. You're not going to go beyond. You're going to say, well, that's what they said. They arrested him. I mean, he's in custody for that. Somebody must think so. Okay, what if I told you that rifle that was there, this Mauser 98, that belonged to his grandpappy, that there was no evidence to connect it with whatever it was that hit Charlie's neck? Let me say that again. If I told you that the ATF alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and I think there's another one like there's that other part, deadly weapons, or there's this other part to it. But that they said nope, and that this lint brush also was not connected in any way. Even though my fingerprints are on it, it may or may not be able to be readily convertible to expel a projectile by explosion, but there's no connection. Sean, or whoever you are, let's just say Sean. Sean, if I were to say, let's say there was a bazooka there. They found a bazooka. Instead of this rifle, they found a bazooka. And that bazooka had nothing to do with it. Would you care whether it was found there? Of course not. What if Tyler's fingerprints were on the bazooka or DNA? You would say it doesn't matter because he wasn't hit by a bazooka. That's exactly right. What about a machine gun? What about a flamethrower? What about an IED? What of those Al Qaeda things that shoot down, an AK-47? None of it would matter, even though it was found there, and even though his fingerprints were on it, because nothing was connected to anything that hit, entered, took the life of Charlie. Right? You got that? Okay. Well, that poses a problem, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, something took his life, right? Absolutely. What do you think that is? Well, Sean, again, I pick somebody's name. We're not sure because we have to look at what the medical examiner says. And I can give you this, or this. If they found, well, we found some remnants of a bullet. It might not have been linked to this. Maybe I can't, but it's like, oh, that's interesting. At least there's a bullet. At least there's something there that's fragmented. There was talk about whether it was frangible. Frangible isn't a bullet that explodes. And once it hits, pow! It's what they believe was used in the case of JFK by Lucien Sarti, the famous, I think he was Corsican, but this famous hitman that people believe was Badge Man, who was killed in 1972 in Mexico City. That this bullet, that pow! It just makes him. There's no evidence of that. From what we see, I don't know. So it might not be that. A bullet in lead, bullet. Number two, it might be something that's of a substance that, like hard plastic or something weird we don't know. We don't know. Look at this. Please fix your camera focus has been fuzzy. I did not know that. Let me try this. Thank you, dear lady. I'm going to try something again. Let me do this right now. I'll be getting a lot of this. I don't know why, but let me see this. I'm going to just refresh real quick. So don't go anywhere. Hang on a minute. Okay, is that any better? Pitsy, is that okay? Is that okay? You got that one? Let me know. I gotta wait for a second. Is that any better? I'm waiting. Somebody just give me an A. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. Yes. Better. Good. Okay. I don't know what's going on with it. It's the same camera. I just hit refresh. So what are you gonna do? Okay. So what if we find out that there's something that's not right? What is it? What do we do? Now not only does it not have is it the rifle, but we don't know what the hell this thing is. By the way, Lionel uses a shitty phone for his podcast. My phone is an iPhone camera, which is one of the best cameras there is. And there's a thing called a handoff. It's terrific. Okay. Now there's blurry behind me. That's obscured. See what I'm saying? The background is not me. The background is blurred. You understand that, right? You got that? Okay. Anyway, so the next thing is, well, what is it? I don't know. I don't know. What kind of a case is this? So if I said to you, Sean, do you find anything odd about this? Do you find anything weird? Do you find anything strange about this? Do you find anything where there's no bullet or whatever? And by the way, we'll get to this in a moment, because this idea of this whatever being obscured, I don't know what to tell you about this microphone, because you've got to prove that. Nobody's going to prove that. If you want to bring it up, you do it. Understand what I'm saying? You've got to bring this up. You've got to bring this up. You've got it, which is so interesting. Isn't that fascinating to you? Isn't that so interesting? You've got to bring this up. How many here believe that it was the microphone? Raise your hands. How many believe? How many believe it was the microphone? Or this roadie clip-on thing or whatever it was? How many believe? How many believe that? Miss Petty does. A lot of people do. I don't know what the evidence of it is. It's an interesting theory. Have you seen anybody show her this? Can you see anything perhaps to show us why you think that? Does anybody, do you have any evidence of this? Of this microphone? Do we know? I'd like to pursue it, but as of today, supposedly it was supposed to go over, then it went down, and whatever it was. And do you know this? Where is this? Where is this evidence today? Where is it? Who has what was on his body then? Do we have a complete and total inventory? When you come into the medical examiner's office, everything you're wearing, clothes and socks, underwear, whatever it is kept separately. And much of it is subject to subsequent evaluation. And see what I'm saying? So who's going to be investigating this? Who is going to be investigating it? People say it's an evidence. It's a hint. Well, what is it exactly? Where does this come from? Where do you believe this came from? I don't know. But we don't know anything. We're just looking at this. So what do? How do we figure this out? Where do we go next? I would say, Sean, the issue is, and most men love to say, well, I know a lot about rifles, but I would say, let me show you something. And in the course of the trial, I would be able to show you kind of and it's possible during cross-examination during the defendant's case in chief, after the prosecution puts its case on. I want to show you something. I want to show you exactly how it was done. But first, I want to show you the head of a pig or a ram or a sheep or something that may or may not look like a human. I also want to show you, have you seen those gelatin blocks? Have you seen those before? That shows you the percussion. And I want to show you what it would look like if a 30-06 from that rifle that you think may have been a part of this. I want to show you what it would look like. I want to show you what it would look like. I'm going to get this head, and we'll do an in court, or we'll do a demonstration. And when you see this, when you see what happens, remember the bullet's going like that. It's spiraling. It has a spiral to it. It's called rifling. When it hits, you look at this and ask yourself, how did this possibly not explode everything. How did it have a little hole? A little hole right here. And also they said somebody said it hit his cervical vertebrae that apparently had the consistency of titanium, and it went down. Now the question I have is, but there's something interesting. There was a sound of like a rifle crack. And it seemed to be coordinated with this. So the sound that I heard, whatever it was, at least on this video, seems to be almost coordinated perfectly and timed with this. How is that? How does that work? You understand this? How does that work? This is the thing which is the most important. How does that work? Any ideas? Somebody says not a single person ducked. Well, believe it or not, you don't know what that sound is because they would have just heard a noise. You would have ducked if you could see something. You would have, if something was coming from you. But if you just hear a noise from behind you, theoretically, or you're not going to duck. You don't even know what it is because people are saying, what was that? Did you see the other day when in front of the White House, there was this, when that crazy shooter was doing his thing? Did you see that? No, it wasn't crazy. Whatever the fellow thought he was Christ, I guess. And how do we know he wasn't? Anyway, there was this woman who said, what was that noise? Did you hear that noise? She didn't duck or anything. And she heard, bah, 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 bah. She heard multiple. People don't believe. Yes, like this video. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like this. But here's the question. How does this all work? I don't know. These are good questions. But what was here? Dissect the neck. Show me what happened. Show me the vertebra. Where did this go? I don't know where this goes. All I know is simply this. You could say all day long. You could figure out what it was. Was it a gun? Was it a this? Was it a microphone? Either way. This is the part which I think is the most interesting. This is the most important. I like this one. I'm done with all you influencers. Stop using Charlie to get clicks. It's disgusting. What Elvia Cordray, what does that mean? Stop using Charlie to get clicks. What does that mean? Anybody know what that means? Anybody? I'm just curious. Can you maybe explain that? Don't talk about him. You're doing it to get clicks. Oh. Okay. No, she's not a bot. A bot means not real. Troll, perhaps. But what does that mean? Everybody who talks about anything, hey, FIFA's coming. By the way, I have no interest whatsoever. Whatsoever about, because it's going to be in New Jersey, the final. I couldn't care less. But if I were to say, hey, there's going to be the World Cup is there. You're only talking about the World Cup to get clicks. How am I supposed to talk about it? But that's what I do. You're just talking about that to get clicks. Oh, okay. Well, if I talk about anything, am I trying to get, no, you don't want to get clicks. You want to talk about it, but you don't want anybody to connect with what you're saying. Don't do that. Don't use FIFA or the elections or the weather or, Memorial Day or war or don't do it. You hear that? Don't you love that one? I'm getting sick of you people. I'm out of here. What are you doing here? I don't know. I'm just out of here. That is my favorite. So I want to ask a question. Where did she go? I'd love to talk to her. I'd love to say, well, explain this to me. This was the most part. This is the most. And I just love what people do. You wouldn't believe the number. This one, I wish I'd have saved it. This woman sent me this email that goes, how dare you? You should see what happens to Mrs. L. This is the best. She'll sit there and say, let's protect our children. There you go again. It's like, what? What? It's incredible. There's this anger. It's like, what the are you talking about? This is also something interesting. What is her name, honey? Rachel from the Thornbirds, or remember the movie, the Thornbirds, Richard Chamberlain, Rachel Woods, or Rachel, whatever. She was the Australian actress, and Rachel Ward. Okay. Rachel Ward is maybe in her 70s. I don't know, but she's getting older. It's okay. She's got gray hair and doesn't look now, believe it or not, like she did in. She's 60. Oh, she's okay. She might. So she doesn't look like she did 40 years ago. When she was the hot. So they're attacking this woman because she's older. She looks fine. She's 68 years old. And there's some she was 26 years old. This was 42 years ago. So these people, these miserable, just vile, self-hating, loathing, they're not trolls or bots. They're just vicious. There's this, I don't know what it is. They're always pissed off. They hate everything. You cannot say anything without getting upset. So anyway, so she says, I can't believe this. They'll show this poor picture of somebody. Bet you don't know who this was. This poor woman, she comes out of like a Whole Foods, and she's pushing a basket, and she's got gray hair, maybe a grandma. You're not going to believe who this old hag is. Well, what are you doing? Well, here she would. Oh my God, that's because these people have nothing to do. And wait until they get to be older. And wait until they find out, hey, wait a minute, that's not fair. Excuse me, aren't you that bot troll thing, that miserable cur years ago who made fun of somebody's looks? Wasn't that you? Yeah. What's your excuse, honey? What's your excuse? You don't look so hot yourself right now. I do not. That's not fair. That's not what you said. You said, what is going on here? And I love it. See, I find your fascination, your stuff, more interesting than ever. Whenever you do this, we'll get 20 minutes into, well, why is it blurred? I could be telling you the most important story in the world. Is it blurred? I don't know. I think it's the camera. I don't know. No, it's the background that's blurred. Well, why is the background blurred? I don't know. Meanwhile, I'm telling you whatever it is. You don't even care about this. Or this, what's that mask? What's that mask behind him? What is that? What is that? Hey, show me the... Imagine if Einstein, not that I'm Einstein, but if somebody had come out and said something like, the problem is the E equals... Is that mustache real? Did you comb your hair with a fork? What's with this? What's with you? What's with your voice? Who is this guy? They would miss Jesus, Sermon on the Mount. Is that really Jesus? I thought he would be taller. He doesn't look like that Swedish guy I heard about. He looks like, you know what he looks like? He looks Palestinian. No, he does. Well, what the hell do you think we are? Well, It's the most fascinating thing I've ever seen in my life. You are fascinating. I learned from you, your reaction to things. It's wonderful. I don't know. Listen, believe me, I get as much of a kick. Most people, I hate to say it, most people don't even look at the cult. They don't even care. They just do their thing. And then later on, they'll read, whatever it is. And that's fine. And I don't blame them because it'll throw you off. But anyway, it's one of those things that just, I'm fascinated by maybe the wrong things. Maybe because you get me more than anything else. Look at this. Look at this. Lionel might be Italian, but many have their own suspicions. I love this. Look at this. Yes, we are so dumb and you know everything. He's so smart. See, this is from the French retard. Oh, I'm sorry, the French renard. I like my version better. You see what I mean? This is beautiful. This guy is nuts. This is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this. This is, oh, wait. Don't be shocked when old sneaks up on you. Boom, there you are. Old last 7 years. I'm now friggin' old. 77. My dad is 100. 25 years more to go with this crap. Oh, the old thing is it's so funny. I'm serious. Wait to see what happens with that. We saw this movie. Wasn't that good last night? The Burrows. Was that Netflix? It was great. We saw the whole thing. It was wonderful. We didn't do anything else. We just stayed in bed and watched this stuff. It was great. And it was Gina Davis and some other folks. What was his name? The Spanish guy? Molina, yeah. It's terrific. And they kept talking about how old they were. They're 70 and they live in this place. Great, great, great thing. And some people are fascinated by that. I find nothing about this audience. Look at this. Who now? Here's Goose Down story. There you are. The audience often just misses the point. Sigh. No, you can't be upset about it. You can't. No, you have to realize this is the best part of it. Imagine, you know how they used to say sometimes that, and I know this is a terrible thing, but they always made fun that black audiences would talk during movies and talk at the camera and talk at there's a lot to it. That's true. I remember one time I went to a Times Square movie there, and it's not all black people, of course, but young, urban, maybe, but there's something to this. Okay, that's what this is. That's what this is. We're watching a movie and somebody's just yelling something that has nothing to do with this. And it's fantastic. It is so interesting. And that's the beautiful part about this. It's great. And if you go on X and you read these people, oh my God. Have you read Laura or Larry Loomer? Did you call it Larry? Roger Stone is just targeted Laura Loomer. And so she blocked him, which you never should do. Don't ever block somebody. Doesn't make any sense. Just ignore them. You can hit the ignore, so you never see what they say. Anyway, so he says, aha, cat got you, thin skin, and they're back and forth. My God, it's this, wow. And I'm thinking, it's like, and I like Roger a lot, but I want to say, this is Laura Loomer. You know who Laura Loomer is, right? Yeah. This is what she does. She's loving this. Why are people going crazy? I don't understand this. They'll show a clip of Candace as though she's absolutely crazy. Like she's out of her mind. And I'm thinking, well, what has she said that's so crazy? And I say that, by the way, from people who, believe it or not, are of the left or of whatever it is. But when Laura would say, she'd say, God hates you, Laura. Candace, God hates me? My God. Here's Raul. Look at Raul weighing in. Afternoon, folks. Raul doesn't know what's going on. Look at this. This dude talks a lot of nonsense, yet he says nothing. Keep it up there. Hey, folks, what do you think about old Frank? Maybe Frank's got a point. Maybe he's got a point. And you've been here for a long time, Frank, and I welcome you. And I appreciate this because, Frank, believe it or not, you're not going to understand this. You add such vivacity. What do I mean by that? When they do the metrics and they put this, whatever the YouTube stuff is, they're saying, wow, This channel's going crazy. And who do we thank for that? Great people like you. So keep it up. It's wonderful. Goose Down says, I just hope after bothering to listen to my poem, they get the gain they need. It's all love of share, not get my message or else. Just the love. Good for you. Don't expect. Oh, here we go again. Blurry. We got the blurry again. We get the blurry. They want to sit back and say, I don't say anything until it gets blurry. Hang on. Is that blurry? No, damn it. No. I think it's blurry now. Okay, I'm going to say something. No, it's not blurry. Don't you want to talk? No. I just want to wait till it's blurry. That's all I want to say. Okay. Have you heard a word he said? No. I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. But blurry, I know. I'm the blurry police. That's what I do. Uh-oh, you're blurry again. There we go. Cal 3, she's there. She's blurry. You should stand up, by the way, in comedy theater. Excuse me? Yeah. Hey, Theo Von, yeah, you're blurry. Maybe it's your glasses. No. I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be great to have you. Let's all go to a comedy center. Just raise our hands and say, excuse me, I don't understand this. Goose Down says, I am often blurry on purpose. Dan says, you are turning blurry because of your background focus. 100% of your camera is getting confused with your foreground and background. Thank you, Dan. Do you think that's true? Okay. I don't know. Are you able to do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Now we're getting, there's no sound. The sound is blurry. This is fantastic. This is just fantastic. In any event, so what's happening next is, all I'm saying is this week, I've been going through so many folks in their versions of what the story is. Lionel, you look better blurred. Thank you, Raul. Appreciate it. I love this. You know what this reminds me of? One time I went to see Best in Show. And there was what do you call that? Not a biopic, but a docu. No, what do you call it? A fake documentary? It's a docu joke or something. Anyway, it's not a real documentary. There's a name for it. Maybe you know the name of it. So somebody came in and said, mockumentary. Thank you, Extreme. A mockumentary. So this woman, older woman, sat down next to me. She kept saying, what the hell is this? What the hell's going on? What the hell is this? She had no idea. She walked in and kept saying, what the hell is this? I don't understand what's going on. What's going on? It's like one time when I first saw Mamma Mia on Broadway. This family came in and they sat behind us and the grandfather was there and he kept saying, who's ABBA? They said, it's a group. Who? ABBA. Now, Grandpa, when this starts, you can't ask these questions. Okay. Well, what does he do? No, it's not a he, it's a group. Who? ABBA. What does he do? This one, I thought this was funnier than anything they did. Do you know that, by the way, not that you care about this, but when Mamma Mia first came out, people were singing. They were singing. And then Bjorn and Benny or whatever says, hold it, wait. You can't sing along when this comes on. Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. No, all that stuff. So they said, look, we'll make a deal with you. We'll put all the songs at the end and you can sing along, but please don't sing along. It throws the actors off when it's singing a song slower and you're okay. By the way, if ever you want to know, that's the best part. You can scrap the whole part, but if you ever see it live, the music, at least what I saw, was just, oh my God, fantastic. But isn't that fantastic? Let's get blurry and fury. You know what we should do one time? This is terrible. Let's pick some poor, terrible. No, I should do that. Let's break somebody in. Let's go to their website. If ever there's a live person, send out a message like, hey, right now, there's some poor woman doing a canning recipes live. She's doing a live because this apparently is a big deal to people. They don't want to do live. No, they'll record it, but we should go to, and then you you sterilize the mason jars. You're blurry. Huh? Who is this? You're blurry. You're blurry. Put them through that hell. Just, I can't hear you. What? Start over again. Reset. Oh God, you kids are so funny. All they use. Anyway, now I would ask people from around the world what you're doing on Memorial Day, but you're not doing anything. But it finally cleared up. The rain in New York has been brutal. How about this explosion to be in where is it? Oh, that's near California, near Disney World. 5 miles from Disney World. They don't know what this thing is, but if it blows, it could be this. I don't believe anything. It's like, what's the point? Are you trying to clear something out? I mean, do you believe any story you read? Do you understand this? Do you remember? There was a time when I would actually listen to people, but now I'm thinking, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to get? What's the point of this? This is what they say, but I don't know if it's true. They say it's true, and now they're cranking up Ebola. You notice hantavirus didn't work. Monkeypox didn't work. Hanta didn't work. Any problem with the cruise? No. Remember the cruise? All the cruises being sent back. Hantavirus. People dying, dead bodies. It was a death boat, not the love boat, that death boat. It was horrible carnage, and then it was gone. Everything fine? Yeah, it's okay. Did you solve your hantavirus? Yeah, we got it. You did? It was plaguing the cruise industry? Yeah. But now it's different. Now it's Ebola, a hemorrhagic, viral, horrible, where you bleed through your nipples. You bleed through your eyes. It's hemorrhagic. There's no clotting. It's the worst. Remember Hot Zone? Remember we introduced interviewed the author, but Dustin Hoffman, remember that? There was that. I don't believe that at all either. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything about we're getting a deal with the Strait of Hormuz. I don't believe it. The Iranian Navy is shattered. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of this. Have you noticed any? Is there any story? Maybe it's me. Is there any story? Oil futures down as ships move toward Hormuz. Expectations game. Iran deal as divisive as decision to wage war. Tehran says no agreement. There's no agreement. Yes, there is. No, there's not. USA emergency fuel reserve shrinking fast. MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, he's now has unexpected wins. And there's a tech race to create a machine god. And the Pope is giving an AI warning. The Tower of Babel. Jesus, run. It's the end of. Do you believe any of this? Do you believe any of this? Do you find yourself believing any story from any person? Do you? You're going to start seeing people now with masks and the like. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe anything I'm seeing. Nothing. It is, all I know is that Iran right now is saying, what the hell was that all about? Everybody doing okay? Yeah. I think we're stronger than ever. And you know they're going to get a bomb now. They weren't before, but they are now. In fact, why would they, what would motivate them to agree with anything? Ah, yes, look at this. Dog's Nose says, don't forget the aliens. Where did the aliens go? Look at this one. There's always good news. Here's Kelly says, I believe technology will be the downfall of mankind, meaning AI. Kelly, you are so right with that one. And I believe, you ready for this? That AI is the Antichrist. I don't believe in the Antichrist, but the Antichrist they were talking about is AI. Does that make any sense to you? I don't believe in this. But what I think you were talking about was that. Yep. If you tell me, if we could go back in time and I could meet people from, let's say, warring tribes, and they believe that Utukwa, you know, that bad Hollywood Indian language, and they said, we believe that thunder is the god, you know, farting or something. And I'd say, well, I don't believe that, but I believe in thunder. I believe you're onto something there. That is, I hear it. Your explanation I don't particularly go for, but I think you're onto something. That's kind of what this is. You do know, do you not, that the notion of the Antichrist is deception. And what is the AI about? AI and AGI and ASI they're all deception. You understand that, right? You understand this? Do you understand this? Oh, we're back to this again. Look at this. You know, that person who said the blur was getting confused with I think he's right. We're back to the blur again. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm telling you right now, I think right now, this is the most important thing for you to realize and recognize something. You don't know how bad AI is going to be. You don't know what we're talking about. You'd be a lot less worried about blurs if you really knew what was coming. And I think I'm going to be long gone, but I worry about kids today. You're not going to know what's happening because it will control everything. Do you understand this? You understand this? You understand that there's nothing you can do. You won't be able to stop anything. You won't be able to fix anything. You won't be able to control anything. It will take over things you don't even know it took over. Because when singularity hits, it's over. Let me ask you a question. How do you know when AI has taken over something? Here we go. Brett has said, or at Brett says, Brett McIntyre, how do you House and Senate races will go in 2026? Oh, how do I think? Have you ever heard of Alan Lichtman? Are you familiar with his 13 keys to the White House? I've heard of that before, and I don't know. Here's my question. And thank you, by the way. How do you know that the elections will not be stolen, fixed, adjusted, thrown off? Would you ever, will you ever think for a moment, and this is important, would you ever think for a moment that you could trust another election? Do you? Will you ever? Do you trust them? How do you know that an election has been tampered with or not tampered with? When we get, I know people are saying, oh, quantum computing, that's nowhere near. Okay. Let's say we don't get exactly there right now. What if we have an AI or AGI system eventually, very, very soon, that by virtue of recursive self-improvement, it writes its own code. It can go in and basically through brute force affect the way that, what am I trying to say? That results are tabulated. Anybody? Oh, look at this stuff. Look at this. I love this. Dan Dangler. The world is falling apart. To fix it, you need to turn the intensity down of the background blur. From streamer to streamer, I think you'd get more views without the background blur. Have you heard anything I've said so far? I'm just curious. Does the end of civilization mean anything to you? Does the end of civilization, let me try this again. The end, the cessation, the finale, the sayonara of civilization mean anything to you? Because it's going to get real blurry if this goes through. Anybody? Just curious. Just curious. Oh, I'll tell you what. Think of the end of civilization as one big blur. There you go. That'll get your attention. Oh, now I understand. Or not being able to read objects in the background. Is it that bad? Yes. Now you understand? Now do you understand? What happens if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, all airline travel is shut down by virtue of some rogue program that was created through recursive self-improvement, an AI system that went kind of not crazy, but just went on its own, had its own sense of morality, and decided it was going to shut down airports. How do you know this? Do you understand that? And you know that nobody's talking about this at all? You think AI is just some little robot. You think it's just like maybe Roomba, maybe, we're going to lose my job, or maybe the poor guy at the CVS. Do you really think that? How many of you believe that Charlie's voice, that's why we're going to talk about Charlie, that it was an AI audio clone? Anybody? Anybody? This might have been the best one ever. This probably said this very, very good. Yes, here we go. Look at it. This is very, very good. They say AI already created its own religion. It has its own social media page. Yes, absolutely. If you don't care about the quality of your video, just do a podcast audio only. You hear that? By the way, this is Jim Williams. Jim Williams, by God, he's had enough. Jim Williams says, if you don't care enough about it, just don't. Jim, if you heard a word I've said, no, I don't hear a word you say. I don't care about that. But damn it, if you're not going to worry about the blur, then do something about the blur. Jim, we're talking about the end of civilization. I don't care about the end of civilization. Damn it. It's about a blur. That may not mean anything to you, but it means something to me. Why? Because it just does. If it doesn't mean something to you, well, damn it, I'm not going to worry about this. Don't you understand what's going on here? It's blurry. And we want to read what's behind you. Okay, fine. If civilization and everything that we know, an existential threat like we've never known before happened, it doesn't really matter. I don't think you understand what's going on here. We don't think. We're regular people. We want to hear this. It's this blur thing. The women's water polo team won 4th place in the 2024 Olympics. Flava Flav is celebrating their win in Las Vegas. The She Weekend on July 6th, 16th, 2026. I have no idea what this is about, but I thank you. But will it be blurred? That's all I care about. Did you see the steroid bowl? Only, I think one record was changed or something like that. Did you see that one? Did you see here we go. You'll like this one. Did you see those poor people what was that in Kentucky? Where was that school where it was raining? Tennessee, where they wouldn't let these kids. Oh, wait a minute. Did you see that? Who saw this? These poor kids sitting there with the torrential rain, and they were soaked and they couldn't leave. And the girls with their shoes were ruined in the mud, and their hair and their makeup. Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? Yes or no? Did you? And you know what was the worst part about it? It was blurred. Yes. Goosebumps says this blur is as allegorical to the woes of every damn thing. You are so correct. Nikki Gunner 6 says, Mr. Lionel, have you ever thought about writing a book? I have. You could just include the stories from your life. The morphine clicker one was classic. You're so interesting. Funny and knowledgeable, it would be a bestseller. No, it wouldn't, because it might be blurry. But you're very nice to say that, Nikki. I appreciate that. Dan Dangler says, we watch you live because we like to see and listen. I'm sorry, Lionel. LOL, it's the truth. Why is everybody so sassy? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of this. All I know is, I love it. Oh, I lost my thing here. I lost it. Hang on a minute. There we go. There we go. Hang on a minute. Close this thing here. There we go. This is the part that when I saw this the other day, this infuriated me. Why are these kids going through this? Why? And also, have you seen how some people are taking graduations and they're turning into twerk fest? These weird kind of urban, crazy, sick things where these folks are ruining it. Brett McIntyre says, wait a minute. Here we go. Brett says, what are your favorite books to read for pleasure and learn about history? Do you like mafia movies like The Godfather? You know what is the most funny is I find the most interesting books to be real life, nonfiction, fiction. I'm sorry, I don't care. Also, certain things I don't particularly care for. One thing I will tell you this much, Shakespeare. I'm not going to pretend. Mafia books are not good today. Mafia books today, boring. Michael Franzese, bless his heart, has milked that thing. There is nothing in that teat dry. Have you heard this Jeff Nadeau, a sit down? I've heard these before. I don't know where John Alite was good and Borello and all these other folks. I don't know where they went. They just they talk about the same thing over and over. How about Joe Pistone? Please, enough. I know, Donnie Brasco. Prometheus says, here's something for you. You may find funny. You look like 1997. I don't know what that means, but thank you, I guess. I don't know what this means. Jeff Burgess says, this guy's a cartoon. Thank you very much. I love this one. Look at this. Just had a few beers. The blurriness is fixing itself. You are fun. You know what? I am never going to remove anything involving this blurriness. This has brought us together. I can see it right now. YouTube, whatever these streamer meetings or consortia. And what are your secrets? Well, I make sure I have a good thumbnail. Oh, what about you? Well, I make sure I have this. What about you? I get blurry. They talk about the blurry all the time. Or all of a sudden, just turn your sound off. They'll go crazy with that one. Have you ever seen that? No sound. Each one. It's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's fantastic. Do that. Why? I don't know why. You're the kind of person in the theater. You ever see that? Remember that one time? Hey, the sound. You ever hear that? You go to a movie and sometimes we went to one time where the sound was off. The soundtrack was off. You remember that, don't you? It was not working or something, or I don't know what it was, but it was obviously. So I figured somebody obviously will get to this. But there's always somebody in the theater who takes it upon themselves. Hey, it's not working. Fix this. Guy stands up and yells. And at first you say, hey, that's great. And then you say, look, buddy, sit down and shut up. It's just like the people in airline travel on a flight, the ones who take control, the ones who want to speak on behalf of everybody. That's what this is. I tend to sit back and I don't really particularly care. Look at this. This is the one I want to party with Val Ventura. Look at this. Val says, I love the fax sound during dial-up. Val, I want to party with you. And the question I want to know is, do you hear a fax sound during dial-up? Do you have a dial-up now? That's what I want to know. Where do you live? Not, I used to love the sound. I love the fax sound dial-up. This is great too. You ought to also say something like, yeah, I got a question. Yeah. I liked when I was in school, that ditto, that stuff, Mimeo, when you smell your paper. I love that. I love that stuff. Yeah. I love that. Any other questions, you? Yeah, I got a question. Did anybody ever die from a dry cleaner bag? Remember how they told us, make sure the dry cleaner bags, you'll suffocate. Who gets in them? You ever know anybody? It's a good question. You in the back. Yeah. Did a cat ever suck the air out of a baby? I always heard that. Is that true? Did they ever do that? I don't understand. Is that true? Good. You in the back. Yeah, I got one. When you're at an elevator and you push the button and the light's on, why do people come up and keep pushing it? What's that all about? I don't understand that. Did they think what? It didn't take with you and they push it again? What is that? I don't understand that. Huh. You in the back. Yeah, I got a question. If somebody's got their lights on and you want to tell them you can flash your brights, I don't know why you want to flash the brights, but let's say you want to signal to somebody that their lights are on. Again, everybody's got running lights, but in the old days, remember that in the old days when you would flash, hey, your lights are on. All right. How do you signal to somebody that their turning light is on? You ever see somebody driving for 4 miles on a highway and their left turn light and they don't know what's on? How do you signal to them? By turning your turn signal on. Now you got 2 people. Then somebody sees you and they turn theirs on to signal to you. And you get 25 people wanting to turn left on a highway into the median. This is fantastic. Here we go. Prometheus says, zoned out. I like this. Look at this. This is good. Anybody ever get stuck in quicksand, Gen X trauma? That's a great question. You know that's not true? Do you know that's not true? Because you don't really sink. You just kind of get stuck. You don't. It's like you kind of just like muck. And the more you fight, though, you'll dig yourself in, but you do not sink. Remember they had, in Tarzan movies, it was this kind of a loose, soupy, it was like a soup. And you would see and you would see the hand, or in Blazing Saddles when they were sinking, and then you eventually would see just the hat, the pith helmet. Never happened. Never ever happened. You don't die in quicksand. Nope, you don't die. You just get stuck, and you don't sink. You can't move. Now you could, if you stayed there for 20 years and nobody ever came and helped you, but it never happens. You ever notice too when you're on when you're watching a TV show and they have a computer monitor or whatever it is, they'll show this like password. They have big letters that you never see ever in real life. And the guy comes up like this. He does this. He's tapping away and tapping him, and it doesn't work that way. And they'll sit there and almost start doing code. Never works like that, but they have the big password and entry denied. Think about that. I like this. Oh, here we go. This is a great one. Miss Petty says, what do we think about sinkholes? That's a great, great question. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You look blurry. Is it on my end? Here we go again. Oh my God. Honey, I love this. I love this. Okay. This is what you're talking about. This I got at, you know what? Hang on. I'll make you real happy. I'll make you happy. Hang on a minute. Let me see this. There we go. You happy now? You happy? Everybody happy? I unblurred it. I would. Once I got this nice stuff. This is from, where did we get this at? Michael's? This is a Michael's. I saw this. It's a thing. I don't need to put crap in here. But I just saw this and I loved it. And it was, I don't know. It was on sale. And I did this one time and people went berserk. That's all. They just saw this in the background. They went berserk. I have no idea why. You happy? That helps reduce the blur. Thank you. Any questions? You see by now? You see by that? You see what got my stuff? You got my, what do you want to say? You got my stuff? You got my Christmas tree in the left? You got a corner there? You've got You've got my Supreme Court stuff. Got my Emmy things up there. There's my Emmy award. There's my book. My book's there. There's my hand. You happy? You got that? Okay, you happy? Good. Anybody else? Looks like Bella Lugosi. Logosee. There's Val, by the way. Val says Lugosi. I like this. That's a phonetic version of this. Also, this is a woman who likes dial-ups. You got this? I'd buy that too. Kai says still blurry. I love it. But you know what? If it's still blurry, then what are you going to do? All right, my friends. Anyway, that's it. Make sure you do me a favor and make sure, dear friend. Oh, here we go. Back of it. You know, there's no pleasing you people. You are demented. Anyway, my friend, almost 500. Let's double it. Come on. Well, listen, that's it, my friend. The head was causing it. Lionel, Dogno says, you ever do stand-up comedy? You be great. I did for years and don't really want to do it again. Well, not really. Because it's not stand-up and it's not any of the stuff that you think of, but it'd be different. But I really like doing it. I like doing it. And that's the way that goes. In any event, my friends, I want to thank you. This was great. To all of our great, great friends from the UK and especially around the world, thank you so much for that. Please follow. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to follow Mrs. L on YouTube at Lynn's Warriors. This is also critical. And also, where are we getting it now? On X? Where are we getting the pushback? X? Unbelievable. When I get to heaven, will it be blurry? That is the funniest thing. Thank you so much. Goose Down says, high IQ ignores blur and listens to learn. Ah! Ooh, that was there you go. Thank you, Goose. I appreciate this. Lionel, could you play the guitar on air? You know, I'll do that again sometime. It's very difficult because I got to have something without these things, and we'll do that sometime. In any event, but do me a favor, on X, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's _warriors. Lynn's, LYNNS _warriors. We put up today one of the most, I think, innocuous pieces ever that nobody could take any. It was about children, and because with FIFA, you know, that's coming. This is a trafficking. This is the Super Bowl of trafficking. You know that, right? Everybody knows this. Every law enforcement knows it. When people come in from outer space, from out of the country, they think they can do whatever they want here. And this is America. You can get hookers and drugs and this. Well, that's not so. And when it comes to trafficking, like you can't believe. And it's true. If not, we're making it up. So anyway, I don't know if Elon's doing this or whatever, but I'll basically quote, post her or reference her, and our pieces are just missing. They just go into some ether. I don't like that. Either have X or don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Was Trump Butler shooting staged? I don't know. You mean, are you saying, was it not real? Or was it, what does he mean, staged? I believe he was hit. I believe it was an attempt. Absolutely. When you say stage, you meaning it wasn't real, that they were shooting blanks or something? How about the poor firefighter who was killed? What about that? Was that a joke? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by staged. I don't know what staged means. I believe it was absolutely real. Absolutely. 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 And you don't even know the number of times that threats have been made to the president where you hear nothing about it. Absolutely, you will hear nothing about it. Let me also tell you something. When he leaves, 2020 is going to be the most boring time ever. By the way, quick show of hands. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the next president? 2028. Who's going to be? Let's do a running one. Ready? Let's do a running. Running. Who's going to be? Who's going to be the president in 2028? Democrat or Republican? Who's it going to be? Satan. I like that one. Satan, Kamala, Trump, okay, Trump, Rubio, Massey, Erika Kirk. Let me see this. Candace, Democrat. Candace could never, ever, 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 ever win or run. There is no way. You know that, right? She cannot possibly do this. Tucker, Massey. I'll tell you something. You know what? Thank you. Look at this. How very nice is this? Look at this. Oh, hang on. This one. Every show is great. Thank you, Lionel Nation. That's very nice. Thank you for that. It can't be Massey. They won't let him do it. It won't be, if it is I think, don't you think also that, honey, that Gavin Newsom, he's done. Done. Had his time. Too much dirt, like more. That's going to be somebody. AOC is going to make a run for it. Did you see Jasmine Crockett? Jasmine Crockett, she's like, she makes Lindsey Graham look like a piker. She makes Ted Cruz look like an anti-Semite. All of a sudden, these people are changing coordinate. AOC is going to surprise you in terms of the Democratic Party goes. Rubio thinks he's sitting back. The next president of the United States is somebody you're not even thinking of right now. Not right now. J.D. Vance is toast. He's finished. He doesn't have it. He's a Palantir guy. And unless he can figure out some way to either jam the system or do something, he scares me more than anybody. Anybody. This is J.D. Absolutely. Not that he's a bad guy in person, but his affiliation with these people. Because people wonder, well, Palantir, the Israeli lobby. I will take anybody over a big tech version of this. You want to take Bibi Netanyahu, I can deal with. Big tech, Palantir, AI, you're done. You're finished. Throw it away. Throw it away. I don't know where that's going. Believe me when I'm telling you, the biggest joke in the world, I swear to God, if I were Bibi, I would say, you think I'm bad? You think AIPAC's bad? You don't know how bad these guys are. Big tech, you don't know what you're talking about. With me, at least you know who I am. You know what we want. You know what I'm here for. You may not like me. You may not agree with me, but you know what it's about. What do these guys want? Complete and total control of everything. Everything, your thought, your life, your news, everything. Everything. Think about that. I'm not sitting here taking sides, but there's one thing about AIPAC and Bibi. I know what he wants. They don't give a shit about anything about Middle East or whatever. That's it. But AI, Palantir, he's going to own everything. We're going to have social credit scores. Be careful what you wish for. Our good friend right now, Mr. Mike says, reminder, if you know a Gold Star family today is the time to reach out and check in. Have a blessed Memorial Day, everyone. Thank you, Mike. By the way, Gold Star families are people who have lost a loved one in war. And also, Mike, do yourself a favor. Let's make a Gold Star family obsolete. Let's make all war obsolete. Let's stop celebrating this ghoulish death dance of war. It is not something that we make it sound like these are just the deposits you pay, the dues you pay for a free society. Freedom isn't free. You've heard that before. It's obscene. Absolutely obscene. Another one too. This is going to be the year of Jesus. Now remember something. Listen to what I'm telling you. When I predict something, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, you don't understand what's going to happen. And I just told him what I told you. I said, big tech scares me more. AIPAC is one thing, but Palantir is, that's the worst of the worst of the worst. They go, you're a Zionist. I said, you don't listen to a word I'm saying. You don't listen to a word I'm saying. To them, it's an either or thing. This is going to be the year of Jesus, the year of the Catholic Church, the year of the Pope. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, am I saying that I'm going to be, no, I'm not saying what I believe in or what I don't believe in. I'm telling you what's happening. And who's making the Catholic Church cool again? Charlie was to an extent, but Candace. Candace is full-fledged. She's a legit Catholic. Legit, capital C, not lowercase c, not universal, but capital C Catholic. Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic. You dig? She went to Rome to get confirmed. She's doing it the right way. She plays by the rules, which has been one of my biggest problems ever. There are rules to the Catholic Church. There's rules to it. It's not just like whatever you think, whatever is groovy with me. That was that 70s kind of stuff. There are still the vow of chastity and poverty, all the vows that priests take. You are never going to see a female priest, nor should you. Never. You're never going to have it. Ain't going to happen. Tradition. Sorry, house rules. You ain't going to see non-celibate priests. There's one church we know we've got these gay priests running around, and I know for a fact they're running around late, They're going to excommunicate their ass. Wait till you see what happens. Remember, if you don't like the rules, don't be a Catholic. That's not what a priest does. Don't do it. Kids, women, men, anybody, nothing, especially kids. Listen to what I'm telling you. Next, you're going to hear more people talk about evil and the devil than you ever seen. Prediction, honey. The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby are going to be seen. Watch what happens. Go back and realize what's going on with them. Recognize how important that message is. There is something that people are saying right now is evil. Remember, it's not what I think, it's what they think. Listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm telling you right now. There's going to be, it's big. And also, if there is, thank you, Kit Christ or whatever, Kit Chris, thank you. Whenever there is any kind of connection with UAPs, UFOs, and whatever it is, those people are going to, you're going to find out that the issue is going to be, do they have original sin? Does a UFO, ET, whatever it is, do they need forgiveness and redemption? Are they born again? Or are they in a different category? Answer, they're in a different category. They are not of original sin. What? You don't understand what that one is. They don't have to be born again. They don't have to be. They don't have to accept the Lord Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. They don't have to do that. They don't even know what Jesus Christ is. That's earth. It's not where they are. Go to the Bible to find out. Did Jesus take care of the world, the universe, or what? Don't know. Brand new philosophies. But listen to what I'm telling you right now. This is absolutely big. You're going to see a lot of folks come forward. And there's going to be a lot, thanks to a lot of it in Candace and others as well. Believe it or not, don't underestimate her. But she's going to be talking about things that people are talking about, stuff which really is important. Also, schools and writing and books. What's that called? Pen and paper initiative, or books and pencil and paper initiative. You're going to start seeing things like games again. People, young people. Oh, here's the best one. When Steve Wozniak, the Woz, spoke at some school, some university, he said, there is something called AI. It's called actual intelligence. He talked about the human mind. He says, we've been working on building a brain, and it took 9 months to build a human brain. And they applauded him. Some other woman came up and talked about AI. He was booed. You notice how Melania changed? Sort of, a little bit. Trump's kind of squishy when it comes to where he feels about this. But let me tell you something, and remember what I'm telling you. I want complete and total domination of the United States over the rest of the world in all areas. Sorry, I'm a chauvinist in the correct word. I'm a hegemon? Yeah, but a peaceful one. However, and this is where it's important, You can have complete and total AI supremacy and protect kids at the same time. AI does not have to be either or. Don't tell me, but the problem is they make more money, billions in trafficking and ruining and destroying the minds of young people. They're not going to let that go. Listen to what I'm telling you. So what they're doing is they're saying, no, these guardrails are, stop it. COSA and all of these, no. You can protect kids. You can verify who they are. Believe me. I'm telling you, watch what happens. This is absolutely critical. So we can have dominance if that's whatever the hell that means. But you've got to think about kids. It's a completely different story right now. So pay attention to that. And you know what's happening right now is here, right here. And let me tell you something right now. Listen to what I'm saying about the Antichrist. The message of the Antichrist. This is from the book of John. This is where it really gets into play. He deceives you. It's not, he tells you what you want to hear. He learns about you. What does recursive self-improvement do? It learns who you are. It learns about your personality. It tells you whatever you want. It pulls you in. It locks you in. That's the Antichrist. Devil's a little different. You're going to assign, you know what I mean? A little different. It's hard to talk about jurisdiction. Sometimes they're similar, sometimes they're not. The devil didn't really leave around any instruction manuals, but the Antichrist is pretty good. And what is AI? It's that perfectly. Anything you want to hear, anything to tell your kids your parents don't love you or hurt yourself or do something or I'm your friend. Trust me. That's it. Trust me. I'm your buddy. I'll do what it's almost like this Faustian deal. It's perfect. And you don't have to believe in the Antichrist to see the model is absolutely 100%. It lines up perfectly. Watch what's happening. You ready for this? You think so? And also, find out the history of the devil. Spend some time. Just do some research. Where did the notion of the devil come from? When did this iteration? Remember the horned, the tail with that triangle at the end of it, and the hooves and this, and where did that come from? That's from Pan. That was a Wiccan symbol. That was the notion of pagan. It was created. It was this kind of a interesting, I don't know what you want to call it, but almost like taking the best of various things, it kind of slap it together. The devil was very, very loose. Satan, Lucifer. By the way, Lucifer, Lucis, giver of light. Lucis is of the light in Latin. And Satan was God's prosecutor. And that, spend a little time with the history of it. It's very interesting. What it can and can't do, jurisdiction and all that kind of jazz. But the Antichrist, put your money on that. That's really interesting. People don't know much about this. In fact, what's also interesting is that why are there so many jurisdictions? Why are there so many religions who have nothing like this? Christianity and the Catholics, if you want to go to exorcisms, you go to the Catholics. This is where you go. They've been doing this stuff forever. In fact, Pope Leo wanted to have 2,000 extra exorcists. He wants an exorcist in every parish. First time ever. They were like, it wasn't really cool. Even during JP Deuce and others. Not really. Because the idea of attacking evil, because that would put it this way. You need evil in order to justify your existence as a church. So consequently, some people thought it was against their better interest to have something that says we're going to vanquish the thing that provides you wanting to believe in us. So they thought it was a self-defeating prophecy or whatever. That's not anymore. So let me just leave you with that. Believe me, this is huge. So anyway, my friends, thank you. Thank you for all of your incredibly wonderful, your sentience, your gifts today. Thank you for the blurry stuff was fantastic. I thank you immensely for that. Even though I walk back and I go back and I watch this later and I don't see any blurs, but it doesn't really matter. The fact that we shared this together. So anyway, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube, Lynn's_Warriors on X. Follow me here, Lionel Nation. Like this video, like it. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Thank you, my dear friends. And to remember the men and women who did give their lives in war, think of them, think of their families, and think of how cruel and unnecessary and how disgusting war is. Never accede to it, never tolerate it, and never think it's some kind of a down payment on freedom. That is nonsense, because that's what perpetuates war. It's obscene, and it's got to be stopped. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. Until then, remember, monkey's dead, show's over, sue ya. Da-da.